What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. We're going to discuss NXT from June the 24th, 2025. A pretty okay show for the most part. NXT still continues to struggle in its men's division. The ladies, they continue to kill it for the most part. And the ladies main evented this show, which is fun. So there's that. And they did mention the Great American Bash. So they have finally started that build to that show. They only have 2.5 weeks left until that event. So that's good there. We kicked the show off with a video package. All four of the women, they do a promo talking about why they want to win and everything. Jordynne Grace, Izzy Dame, Jada Parker, and Lash Legend. Jordynne Grace basically just vowed to win because she has to win. That's all she really said. Not really that important. Moving on, this leads us into the first match of the night. Trick Williams defeats Josh Briggs. The match was kind of long, but Trick wins via the trick shot for the 1, 2, 3. That's fine there. Post-match, Trick Williams, he gets on the mic. He says that he's the greatest TNA World Heavyweight Champion of all time. Hendry shows up. He attacks Trick Williams. And at Slammiversary, it's going to be Hendry versus Trick Williams for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. That's cool, but I got a feeling that it's probably going to be either a triple threat or a fatal four-way, because I know that Mike Santana probably still wants another shot at Trick, and the same goes for Elijah. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully I'm wrong on that account, but I highly doubt it. Moving on, this leads us into No Quarter Catch Crew. So Tavion Heights blames Charlie Dempsey for intentionally hurting him. Ren Sinclair stands up for Charlie and says that he cares about Tavion Heights and he just wants to make him better. They're a family. It was a training accident. Charlie says that he'll have no problem facing JeVon Evans tonight if Tavion can't. Tavion tells the doctors to clear him. He's going to be wearing a protective face mask. And Tavion says that Charlie Dempsey won't have to care about his well-being because Tavion still wants to leave the No Quarter Catch Crew. Okay, that's fine there. Moving on. So Miles Bourne, he's talking to the Florida Gator football team. So Lexus King shows up. We hadn't seen him in about probably 2 months. He's been on Evolve. And then him and Miles, they have some words. So Miles doesn't want Lexus King's advice. Lexus King takes every shortcut possible. Meanwhile, Miles has worked his ass off to get where he's at today. Miles says that Lexus King is truly his father's son, and that'll never change. And then both football players, they poke fun at Lexus King's beard, and then that was that. So that's fine there, I guess. Okay. Moving on, this leads us into JeVon Evans defeating Tavion Heights. The match was pretty fun. Rather short, but it was good nonetheless. So that's fine there. Good stuff there. Moving on, this leads us into Ricky Saints defeating Shanti the Adonis. The match was short here also. Ricky wins via the Rochambeau. Post-match, Ethan Page shows up, and he attacks Ricky Saints, and he takes him out with the Rochambeau of his own. So that's fine there. They're still working that lame little feud. They need to really stop that, if we're being honest. So apparently Ethan Page and Ricky Saints, both of them, there's a rumor going around that both of them are going to be in Seth Rollins' new stable. I doubt that. Ricky Saints has just got there. He's only been in NXT for about 2.5, 3 months. And Ethan Page doesn't need to be in Seth Rollins' stable. He could easily be by himself on SmackDown doing well. You could team him up with Grayson Waller or Austin Theory, or you can team him up with The Miz whenever The Miz gets back from doing his obligations with American Gladiator. So, whatever. But that's fine there. Moving on. So, we get a Dark State vignette. Who cares? They say nothing. They say they're going to put the NXT roster on notice. No one gives a damn at all. Who cares? Dark State's been there for about, 4 months, and they've not done anything. Who really gives a damn? Moving right along. Oba Femi shows up. He says that he's been NXT champion since January. He's beaten everybody from the main roster, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and TNA. He says they're nothing more than footnotes. And he's now sitting at the top of his throne. He's sitting comfortably at the top of the pedestal. He says that he gets restless when he gets idle. And he gets restless when there's no contenders or competitions. He enjoys to fight. He said the ruler's ready. So then Inamura, his lame ass, shows up. And he basically says that he loves NXT and he's doing it for Briggs and all this nonsense. He loves the culture and the passion of the fans. And he says that he wants to pay them back by becoming the NXT champion. And he wants bigger. And he wants the title. So Oba gives him what he wants. And he says he's going to follow just like everybody else. Jasper Troy shows up, beats the shit out of Inamura. Okay, cool. That's fine there. Moving on, we get some Tatum Paxley drama with Izzy Dame. Well, their storyline is about to begin. Izzy basically just wanted to know if Tatum is going to be in her corner. And Izzy's glad that Daria's not bitter about her loss last week. Izzy says that the closest Daria will ever get to a championship title is the one that she's sharing with Sol Ruka. So that was pretty cool there. So that's fun. Moving on. Trick Williams, he's venting about Joey Hendry in the locker room. He tells, Wesley tells Trick that he's going to set up a match with Joey Hendry next week. Trick tells the High Rise to take care of Joey Hendry next week. And then Trick promises to owe Wesley one in the future. Okay, cool. And then they dap up. All right, that's fine there. I like that. Match should be good. We all know Joey Hendry is going to win next week, but the match should still be good nonetheless. Moving on, this leads us into Stacks versus Tony D for the Heritage Cup. Noam Dar apparently got injured over the weekend. Spoiler alert, I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if he is let go whenever releases happen again, whenever that will be. Hate to say it, he's been there for, 10 years? He's been the last survivor of the Cruiserweight Classic stuff that they were doing all those years ago. I think it was back in 2015, 2016. He's still there. All of his other peers have left, Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander. Those guys have been released. And Noam Dar is still around. And him getting injured like he's been, I kind of see him on the chopping block. Not putting nothing out there. Not trying to, scare anybody, but I wouldn't be shocked that come the next batch of releases, I wouldn't be shocked if Noam Dar is on that list. I think the only thing that could save Noam Dar is whenever he gets back from injury, you team him up with Charlie Dempsey to replace Tavion Heights. Maybe you do something like that. That's the only thing that can kind of really save him. If not, he's done, if we're being honest. Moving on. So, Stacks ends up becoming the new champion, new Heritage Cup champion. So it went, I think, 5 rounds. Tony D won the second round via spear. Third round went to Stacks, and I think the 5th round went to Stacks as well because Luca Cristofano, he got involved. And Stacks' goons, they showed up. Well, his henchmen, they showed up. They had their white shirts. They showed up. They caused havoc. They ended up bringing a bucket in, which actually Luca accidentally hit him in the back of the head, and that caused for Stacks to hit the running knee for the 1, 2, 3. And then post-match, Luca tries to apologize to Tony D, but Tony D's not going to hear it, and he just decks Luca. So Tony D's tired of the nonsense, which is great. So I like this. Hopefully, we can have a stipulation come NXT Great American Bash. Hopefully that's what happens. At the Great American Bash, we get Tony D versus Stacks, basically 3. You could do it either in like a steel cage match or a last man standing match or something like that, or even like an I Quit match. So that'd be fine there. So good stuff. So this was good. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Moving on. So Sarah Schreiber, she has a backstage interview with Fatal Influence. She brought up the fact that Fatal Influence ruined Mariah May's, a.k.a. Blake Monet's contract signing last week. Finally took exception with Blake, thinking that she could walk into the deepest women's division in the world and go straight to the top, putting Blake through the table was their way of welcoming her to their division. The only thing that's forever around NXT is Fatal Influence's control over this division and the NXT Women's Championship. Jacy Jayne knows the Evolution is a historical event. As for tonight is concerned, they'll oversee the action, but the woman getting her hand raised in Atlanta, Georgia will be Jacy Jayne. Cool, I like that. Really good stuff there. Good stuff. Moving on, let's lead us into Thea Hale. She's having a conversation with the contestants of LFG Season 2. So, Lainey Reed, she joins the conversation. She says that Thea Hale does a good job of being played like a fiddle. Thea gives Lainey props for already having a big mouth. Just showing up 2 weeks ago, Lainey says that Thea hasn't changed at all, and a brawl was about to break out, but then Lash Legend showed up, and that was it. Okay, that's fine there. Lash is not doing much ever since Jakara Jackson has gotten released. She's just really just been there just to be there. So, yeah, there's that. Moving on. So, Ava, she's had enough of Ethan Page's constant attacks on Ricky Saints. Ethan Page wants Ava to make sure that Ricky stays far away from all ego, and they won't have to deal with the issue again. Ava tells Ethan not to piss her off. Ricky and Ethan are required to meet in Ava's office next week. Ethan says that he's going to handle this issue on his own terms, and then he ends up telling Siri to dial the numbers for the Vanity Project. That's pretty cool. And then we go to from that we go to Hank and Tank being taken out on the outside. Okay, that's cool there. Moving on, this leads us into Sarah Schreiber. She has another backstage interview with Joe Hendry. So Joe Hendry's glad to be back at NXT. He says Battleground was a night that he thinks about every single day. He can't change the past, but he damn sure can control the future. Joe Hendry says he's going to regain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at Slammiversary when he defeats Trick Williams. Trix has been made himself very comfortable showing up to TNA wherever he wants. So Joe Hendry is going to do the same thing with NXT. And then Joe Hendry said that he's going to take out Wesley next week. Okay, that's fine. Moving on. So then we get a Chase U vignette. Mr. Chase says that Kel Dixon and Uriah Connors need to get tough. Kel says that his attitude is the reason why this university fell apart. And then both guys walk out of class again. Who cares? Main event of the evening, Fatal 4-Way. The winner is going to face Jacy Jayne for the NXT Women's Championship at Evolution. Jordynne Grace, Jordynne Grace, Lash Legend, Izzy Dame, and Jada Parker. Really good match. All 4 women did great. Jordynne Grace ends up winning via the torture rack. Jada Parker basically ate everybody's finisher towards the end. A great spot there towards the end with like a suplex powerbomb position. That was great. That was nasty. I enjoyed that. Jordynne Grace winning is the right decision. Makes perfect sense. We all know that Jacy Jayne is going to be a transitional champion. And I assume after that, she's probably going to end up getting her NXT call-up. I mean, my bad, her main roster call-up. Her and Fallon Henley, I think it's time for those two to be on the main roster as a tag team if they want. You could still leave Jasmine in NXT. She's still rather new to everything. I know she's done some indie stuff as well. She's been on the indies for like a year or two, but she barely wrestles on this show, and she barely wrestles in TNA, so she's just there. She's like a third wheel. She just exists. So, you know, there's that. I would assume that Lash Legend and Jetta Parker, they're going to have a feud. They're going to be working a match at NXT, at the Great American Bash or at Evolution. So, because, you know, Lash has to be, you know, she's got to be on the show because it's in Atlanta, so why wouldn't she? So, you know, there's that. The show was okay. The women have been killing it as of late. The men, not so much. It's sad that the men are in this position. They shouldn't be, because they have access to guys from TNA, Evolve, and also their ID program. So it's not looking good for NXT in the men's division. They need help big time. Hopefully they can get it, but we'll have to wait and see. Only time will tell. At this point, I wouldn't be mad if they brought Carmelo Hayes back down for a little bit, or somebody like a Karrion Kross or something like that, or whatever, or maybe somebody like an Andrade. You know, somebody like that, of that caliber. I don't know. But hopefully NXT can get it out of this slump for the men. But overall, the show was okay. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.